Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the On Fire B2B podcast. It's the podcast where we take business owners and CEOs B2B space. 6 questions, 9 minutes, because the best know when to be concise and when to end. Let's get to it. Question number 1, in a few sentences, tell me who you are and what do you do?
Absolutely, Bob. I am Ryan Pereus. I'm with Superhuman Prospecting. We do outsourced sales development and cold calling for businesses across the nation.
Right and to the point. Love it, Ryan. Question number 2, what is the best thing about working with businesses?
I love to see the aha moments with clients when the process starts to work. So when we really work to refine and set up their strategy, and we are tuning the knobs and start to receive results from our campaigns, that's what I love the most, because we know that all the work and sweat and grit we've put in is actually producing what we're hoping for.
Awesome. Question number 3. I'm hearing from other top executives and owners that using quotes and testimonials from clients really increase conversions in sales. What are your thoughts?
About 2 years ago, we had put a lot of work into some videos and SEO, and we had got an inbound call from someone who said, I think I'd like to use your service starting this week. I said, oh my gosh, well, how about we start with what's your name? And that's how it all began. And I said, well, what made you start the conversation like that? He's like, honestly, I've been looking at your website and videos for the last 2 weeks, and I've probably been to your website about 7 times, read every page, and I'm ready to go. So he saw a lot of our testimonials, our reviews that we've posted, talked about some of us, the things that we do on YouTube, and he decided to buy. So very important, because it is the sales people that are out in the field that are really just, past customers who are constantly working for you.
That is true. Absolutely. Question number 4. What advice you share with other companies in the B2B industry? Go.
Yeah, I would say the best thing to do is with cold calling. There's a couple different, pieces of advice that I have. I would say that when you're cold calling in the 21st century, we have to remember 2 things. One is that we are fighting digital marketing. Digital marketing is prevalent in 2020. And that is going to be something that we're always fighting as outbound human-to-human prospectors. The other thing is what we like to call, or I like to call, poor sales ethics that we're trying to diffuse, that has negatively impacted the cold call industry for the last 40 years, starting with the SEC laws around boiler rooms, if you know anything about that. With the Wolf of Wall Street days and things of that nature, a lot of those stories came from real events that negatively impacted how consumers think of receiving telemarketing calls. So when we're looking at how to execute cold calls in the 21st century, we have to have those 2 things in mind, right? Is that digital marketing gives control to the buyer, and the buyer is doing a lot of the work. And then also there's a negative stigma against sales. So when we construct a cold call strategy, we have to consider those things. So the first thing on how to execute cold calls in the 21st century is to first think about the purpose of a cold call. And what is the purpose of a cold call? It's to actually, we've found, to build trust. It's more philosophical and relational, and that's what is, I think a lot of folks don't understand. They think it's about getting the sale, or it's about the next step, when really it's about building trust because of all that negativity, So everything we say, everything we do has to do with building trust, right? So once you've established that, and that any kind of language that you're going to use, vocabulary, tone of voice in a cold call, needs to be working towards that. And building trust isn't just about building trust in the person and saying, okay, this is a person I want to work with. It's also about a product that is trustworthy. If I'm trying to sell black and white TVs to Best Buy, now I don't know how much that's going to be relevant to them, and they're going to trust that I have a good product, right? So it's more than just the person. The person really does matter, because you don't want someone who's trying to strong arm them or do something that's going to really hurt. So that's how it starts. And then you need to identify your strategies or objectives of the call, right? So when I make a cold call to a prospect, I want to make sure that not only am I building trust, but I'm moving the needle with them. I'm going from 0 to 1. So that would have to do with, sparking interest in the product, sparking interest in myself, and building that value. All right. And then it's selling the next step would be another strategic objective, right? So I don't know who's one call closing from a cold call in 2020. So the whole idea right now in building trust is actually going to be selling them on the next step. And a lot of times that can fulfill the third objective, which is to what we call diffuse the salesperson stigma. And
Right.
that salesperson stigma is what we're kind of talking about from those years of negativity, that they've experienced with poor sales ethics. So if we're able to diffuse some of those issues that come up, like, oh my gosh, I don't want to buy right now. Hey, listen, no problem. I'm not trying to do any of that right now. Really, I'm just trying to help you learn and be a good resource for you so that when the time is right, either you can move forward with us or I can point you in the right direction. All of that, and energy starts to diffuse, and you can start earning that trust again. So those are kind of the primary how-tos when it comes to a cold call in the 21st century. All right. I would say the last thing. Actually,
I'm going to cut you off on the last thing. If people want to know the last thing, they need to look you up because we only have 2 minutes and 50 seconds left. And I want to give you some promotion time. So let's get to question number 5. What other top CEOs and business owners in the B2B industry, like yourself, would you like to acknowledge as a leader and should be a guest on my podcast?
Number 1, Matt Aston of GPRS. He was a mentor of mine. I worked for their company before going off and started my own business. And he's taken that thing on his own from the beginning, from 1 or 2 employees to a couple hundred right now. And that would be one person. Also, Adam O'Leary of Insight International, a client of ours and has really unique branding and advertising agency out of Colorado.
Perfect. I'll look them both up and done here. Number 6.
Yes.
This is the most important question of the podcast, Ryan. You got to focus on this one.
Okay. What is it?
Hey, Ryan, tell me about your first time. Your first sale.
So first sale, when we started Pereus Marketing, our first big opportunity, it was January of 2017. I just hired our first employee to help to really launch Pereus Marketing, and then which became Superhuman Prospecting. So we were a consulting service at the time, and we were doing event marketing. And so we had, I had been going door-to-door canvassing. This is way pre-COVID, so I was able to go door-to-door. I had stopped by a remodeling company because we were going to do some outside events, event staffing for them, lead generation that way. I stopped by, give them my card. I get a meeting with them. It turns into another meeting where two executives flew in to come meet with me and my team member. So we sat at a round table with 6 executives and 2 of us. And after an hour and a half, we walked out with a $100,000 deal over 2 years. So that was the biggest sale. And that was the first meeting that I took my team member to. So I started off with on a good foot with him, that got him kind of excited, that launched us to, have 10 team members by the end of that year.
Yeah, 100K is decent, decent over there. So, hey, you got 38 seconds left. Do some promo time. Go.
Some promo time. Yeah. So we have Superhuman Prospecting, which provides outsourced cold calling for your business, anything B2B. We call from financial services, commercial insurance, SaaS products, marketing companies. We do the whole thing. We also have another side, which is sales development, consulting, and script copywriting. So we have our own script methodology that Superhuman Prospecting uses as well, but we can help your team with who you are and what you have right now, write up a custom message that is relevant to the 21st century for your prospects.
Perfect. You did that right on the nose. Good job. 6 questions in 9 minutes because the best know when to be concise and when to end. Your website, say it real quick.
Yeah, superhumanprospecting.com.
In the description, it's magic. Ryan, thank you so much for being on. Tip of the hat to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And for everyone else watching or listening, make sure you check out more episodes of the On Fire B2B podcast. My name is Bob Clark. You all have a wonderful day now. Talk to you later. Bye.